Like many of you, I am really happy that winter is finally gone and springtime is here. We've had some really good days as of late. The weather's really nice, the sun shines out today, but that also means it's time to start taking care of the lawn. Now I have 1/3 of an acre between the front yard and the backyard, which means there's a whole lot of grass to mow every single week. But fortunately last year I had a chance to check out my first robot lawnmower, but it had an RTK system, which required line of sight to the sky with the base station, also the RTK tower, and then making sure that the robot lawnmower could also see the sky as well. And the whole setup process took about 2 hours because you have to manually map out the entire yard. Fortunately this year, I have something a little bit better. This here is the eufy E18 robot lawnmower, and eufy's promising a 5-minute setup time. So we're gonna put that to the test to see if we can actually get this unboxed and set up in just 5 minutes, and then start mowing the lawn. So let's get things started with a stopwatch to see if we can hit that 5-minute mark. Opening up the box, we have the user manual showing what's inside the box, the setup process, download the eufy app, and see what else is in there. The accessory package here. Charging cable. Stakes to screw this into the ground. Additional tools and blades. The extension cable, because this might have to get power from somewhere way far away from where the mower actually is. And then some grease for those blades as well. And further inside here we have the mower itself. Fairly small but cute. And then finally we have the base station.
The setup process is pretty straightforward here. Just screw in the base station into the ground so that it doesn't move around, and then turn on the E18 with that switch that's located on the bottom of the unit, and then install the eufy app on your smartphone and then walk through the whole setup process, which just takes about 3 to 4 minutes.
So the setup process took a little bit longer than expected, 9 minutes and 23 seconds, which honestly isn't that bad. I did have a little bit of an issue getting it connected to my Wi-Fi network, which took some extra time, but now it's time to move over to the eufy app and start that first mapping process, which thanks to the camera system on the E18, it should be able to map everything out on its own without me having to manually dictate where the borderline of the property is or what it should mow. So let's hit that start button and get things started.
So the main difference between the eufy E18 and pretty much any other robot lawnmower that uses an RTK system is that it doesn't require you to walk behind the robot lawnmower as you're controlling it in the app to trace out the edges of your lawn and any obstacles that might be in it. I did this last year and it was a pain in the side. Instead, the eufy uses an advanced vision system, similar to what robot vacuums do, that visually scan your yard, find obstacles, the edges of the grass, and then map everything out completely on its own, totally hands-free. Now, I was around watching it simply because I was filming this video, but honestly, I could have gone into the house and simply let it do its thing, and because it managed to do everything without any intervention from my part.
And you can see here it is slowly mapping out the different areas of the yard. That white area there, that is the tree right over there, and it's slowly making its way up and down the yard, mapping it out line by line to make sure it knows where the edges are for the yard and the grass.
It even wandered off behind the base station and was trying to map out an area that I clearly didn't want it to go into. But it was obvious that the E18 wanted to show off its rough terrain capabilities here thanks to its big, chunky wheels. But after a couple of minutes of pushing around leaves and trampling over sticks, it realized it made a mistake and then went back to finish mapping out the rest of the yard. And it did this all on its own. No wires, no RTK, and most importantly, no signal issues.
Well, it took 37 minutes to map out the front yard. Then we're going to get started with actually mowing the lawn.
So this is the perfect time to talk about all of the features offered by the eufy E18. The cutting width of the robot lawnmowers is 8 inches with an adjustable height of 1 to 3 inches. And while that cutting width is 8 inches, the mower has a 3 to 4 inch overlap between rows, which means it takes a lot of passes to mow your entire yard. To give you guys a first-person view of what the robot sees as it's going around your yard, I did mount my camera to the top of it, but that was actually before I realized that the Eufy app has an option to see through the cameras on the front of the robot lawnmower. You can view as it's mowing your yard, and you can actually then control the unit from the app as well, though there is a little bit of a delay here. That advanced camera system is also what's used for obstacle avoidance, and I have to say, it's pretty good. To test it out, I threw out a pair of shoes right in front of it to see what it would do, and it turned around and started mowing the other direction. And then later on, when it realized that the shoes were no longer there, it decided to give another pass to that area of the yard that it had avoided at first, just to make sure that the yard was fully mowed. But getting back to the app, this is where you're going to make all the little tweaks and adjustments to the robot lawnmower, setting up those go, no-go zones, virtual walls like we saw before, and then the different areas as to how close it's going to get to the edges of your lawn when it's mowing. And then, of course, you can set up schedules as well. Now, I typically wouldn't recommend using your traditional lawnmower and mowing your yard late at night or early in the morning, but with how quiet this is, honestly, it's incredibly quiet. At just 56 decibels, you could mow at 2 o'clock in the morning and no one would even complain. You can't even hear this thing if you're more than 15 feet away. It's that quiet. There's also an anti-theft system that's built into the app and the lawnmower itself that uses GPS and 4G cellular connectivity to pinpoint the real-time location of the mower, just in case if someone happens to steal it, something that a lot of other lawnmowers simply don't have. You can also set up and control the multi-zone functionality from the app as well. Multi-zone works really great if you want to make sure that you're mowing the front and the backyard. And if you're feeling generous, you can have it mow your neighbor's yard as well. Just set up the path between the different areas and then tell it which zone you want it to mow. It'll then navigate there completely on its own, do the job, and then return back to the base station to charge, taking care of the whole process completely on its own. Of course, Eufy's robot lawnmowers do also have a rain detection sensor that's built in that'll trigger it to return back to the cover of the base station if it detects that rain starts. And then in the app, you can set how long it should wait before it starts mowing the grass again after the rain stops, just so that you can make sure that your grass has time to dry. As you can see, my yard here is completely flat, but Eufy's robot lawnmower is capable of handling slopes up to 40% or 18 degrees. So if you do have a steep slope in your backyard or a couple of little hills, this thing should be able to handle them with no issues whatsoever. Once it's done mowing your yard, it then finishes things up with an edge trim all the way around the boundaries of your grass, getting as close as possible as you dictated within the app to the borderline there, so that hopefully you don't have to come back with an edge trimmer later on.
Well, it took a total of 98 minutes for the E18 to mow our front lawn here. And honestly, that's pretty good considering the size of this unit. But also, we did have that little bit of a break there in the middle for the E18 to go back to the charger and charge up from 20% to 89%. And it did it in about 45 minutes, which is really impressive for a lawnmower of this size, because a lot of competing devices, at least the one that I used last year, would take 5.5 hours to charge from 20% back to 80%. And this is because of the parent company, Anker's real expertise in battery and charging technology. So it's nice to see that that translates over to the E18 here. Now, if I would have started things off with a full charge on the E18, it would have been able to pretty much mow my entire front lawn without any issues. But for those who have larger yards, being able to charge from 0 to 100% in 90 minutes makes the E18 really great, just because it's going to be able to mow and then recharge and then mow again 3 to 4 times in a single day, as opposed to a lot of other devices that take 4 to 5 hours to charge all the way up to 100%, which means you have to spread things out over a couple different days in order to mow everything in your front yard and your backyard as well.
If you are finally looking to jump in and get yourself a robot lawnmower this year to take care of your yard, be sure to check out the Eufy E18 and the 15 as well. The E15 costs $1,599, while the E18 is $400 more. And again, the only real difference between the two is how big of a yard they can map, with 0.2 acres on the E15 and 0.3 acres on the E18. Just hit up the link in the video description below if you want to get your next generation hands-free robot lawnmower. I just want to say thanks to Eufy for their support of our channel and everything we do here by sponsoring this video. And of course, thanks to you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.